It was billed as a £22 million state-of-the-art bus station right at the heart of a modern integrated transport hub. It was hoped it would prove to be the catalyst to encourage more people using public transport.
10 days after the new facility opened and a series of new routes were also introduced, thousands of people in Wolverhampton are complaining. Bob Hockenhull's been investigating.
Wolverhampton's new bus station has been described by some as a facility that people need and deserve. But its opening has coincided with new routes and timetables that have angered many.
I'd take the 79 route. It's terrible. It's not improved, it's got worse.
Turn it back to normal. Why? Because it's confusing.
Residents like Pat Fullwood say services they use have either been merged, diverted or reduced.
We just totally cut off. We've got no transport whatsoever. We just stuck.
Just put your name and address and sign, please. Thank you very much.
In nearby Wensfield, the local councillors already collected 2,000 signatures from angry passengers who claim they can't get to the shops.
It's no good having first-class or world-class facilities when residents that I represent have no provision or no bus service to get them into high streets like this one in Wensfield to do their shopping, pay their bills, do their banking. They'll probably never get to see that new bus station.
Traders are worried too.
It's affecting trade because people can't seem to get where they want to get.
The older generation from the outside of Wensfield are struggling to get to the centre now.
All this is seen as embarrassing and disappointing for those who see this station as a world-class facility, the centre of a transport hub linking bus, train and tram, and at a time when more and more people want to use public transport because of high petrol prices.
Transport managers say the new timetable would have been brought in whether there was a new bus station or not.
I don't want us to quickly react and do something which potentially helps solve one difficulty and causes another. So we're still at this present time looking at those issues, talking with the councillors. We do have the petition that we've received already and we're looking at options to see what we may be able to do.
It's hoped that controversy won't detract from the city's hopes to make the bus station a spur for economic regeneration. Bob Hockenhull, BBC Midlands Today, Wolverhampton.
Well, let's go live now to that rather swish-looking bus depot and our transport correspondent Peter Plisner. Peter, this is a bit of a PR disaster, isn't it? The new bus station, is it really to blame for all this?
Well, it's certainly a PR disaster, but nothing to do with the new bus station. These changes were happening anyway. It just so happens they were introduced at roughly the same time. Now, Centro say these changes happened after a major consultation of which they say there were hundreds of responses. But the bottom line is there's less money around, and private bus companies like National Express and indeed Centro, who are funded from the taxpayer, are making best use of existing resources. And obviously, these changes are just not popular, hence that petition of 2,500 people.
Indeed, and Peter, as we all know, petrol prices going up and up. People who might consider abandoning their car, well, they could be put off by things like this, couldn't they?
Well, there is evidence of something called modal shift, where people are switching from primarily car to train, but also to bus because of higher fuel prices and the effects of the recession. But what people want is a decent alternative with a local connection. And of course, that's where the bus scores. But unfortunately, we seem to be heading in the opposite direction with these changes, hence the complaints.
Yeah, and can these problems be overcome then?
Well, Centro say they are listening to the complaints. They say they've launched a major review which should report within the next week or two. That might mean more changes. It might mean additional bus services as a result of perhaps more funding. But these aren't isolated cases. Today we've had emails from people about changes elsewhere in the city which seem to be equally as unpopular.
OK, Peter, we'll have to wait and see what happens there, won't we? Thank you.
Let's have a roundup of other news now. A senior